Everyone charged with a crime often asks the same question: can I get my sentence reduced? I'd like to welcome everyone to our 6th Criminal Defense Google Hangout. In our last hangout, we talked with West Palm Beach DUI defense attorney Andrew Stine about the implications of being charged and convicted of a DUI. Whether you are convicted with DUI or any other offense, criminal defense attorney Andrew Stine will provide guidance and answers to that question in today's hangout. Hey Andy, how are things going today?
Very good, Renee. Good afternoon.
Yeah, and just for everyone's sake, I'm Renee and I'm going to be the host today. Andy, you've often mentioned that one of the most asked questions by your clients is, can I get my sentence reduced? So at what point in the defense process do your clients usually broach this subject?
Well, Renee, it's usually approached at the end of the criminal case. And what I mean by that is after all of the evidence, the discovery is provided to me, after I review it all, after I look at all applicable defenses, there comes a time in all criminal defendants' cases where they have to decide one of two things. One, do I go to trial? Or two, do I accept a negotiated plea agreement, or do I plea up to the judge? Sometimes, due to the points associated with a crime, under the Florida Criminal Punishment Code, individuals, defendants, are looking at prison time on felony cases. So they have to make a determination: should they go to trial or should they accept a guilty plea? If they're going to accept a guilty plea, or even if they go to trial and it doesn't work out and they're found guilty, they're going to be sentenced by the sentencing court or by the trial judge. With that being said, there are strict guidelines in Florida for when a judge may depart from the guidelines. Usually, a departure from the guidelines occurs when we deal with a criminal defendant who has a first-time offense. In order to determine whether a trial court may depart from the guidelines, the trial court has a two-step process. Whether it can depart, that is there a valid legal reason that the criminal defense attorney is putting forward to the court to depart? If that requirement is met, then the judge has to look at the totality of the circumstances and whether indeed it is the best sentencing option. Now, there are many reasons why a judge will depart. One is for young defendants, 20 years and younger. Many times, those individuals are not mentally developed. Their brain is not mentally developed, so they can get something called the youthful offender in Florida, whereby the judge could depart from a prison sentence and give many different options. It could be jail with probation, straight probation, house arrest with probation. So we could go under the youthful offender. Also, in making the determination on the basis for a downward departure, the judge could look at many different options. One of the options is, was the crime committed in an isolated manner, meaning it was an isolated event. We're talking about individuals who have usually committed their first felony offense. They don't have a long rap sheet, a long history of criminal cases. With that being said, it's isolated. Also, is it an unsophisticated crime? Many crimes are unsophisticated. DUIs are unsophisticated. DUI with severe bodily injury, that's a sophisticated crime. With that being said, there are many parameters that the judge could look at to depart. However, all departure sentences must be in writing. They must follow Florida law. They must follow 921-001-6, and that's the sentencing statute. So you need a experienced criminal lawyer like myself who knows how to file these very important applicable motions. many times also, you need to get an expert witness. An expert witness to talk about the defendant's mental capacity, sometimes in sexual crimes, whether or not they're going to reoffend in a sexual nature, whether or not the two individuals who engaged in the illegal sex, whether it was coerced, whether it was a relationship of a Romeo and Juliet, where it was an older lover with a younger lover, but it was consensual. Those can be developed in sentencing arguments for departure, and successfully so. They usually take the ability of an expert witness, who a criminal defense attorney like myself has individuals who, doctors, psychologists, who are on hand, who will reasonably evaluate the individual and come to a medical certainty as to where this person is. They'll testify to the court, and then we can go ahead and ask for a downward departure to keep the individual either, one, out of prison, two, to reduce the prison sentence, or three, to get something like house arrest as opposed to the Department of Corrections prison time.
Well, that's tremendous information, Andy. As a criminal defense attorney in the state of Florida, what are your obligations when discussing a sentence or a sentence reduction with your client?
The most important thing is to be truthful to the client. As a criminal defense attorney, I am not a magician. I cannot make things up. I cannot sugarcoat things. And with that being said, you have to know the prosecutors, and you also have to know the judges. You have to know what you can use that is legal, because you do not want to lose credibility with the judges, with the prosecutor's office, in asking for your client to get a sentence reduction. So I think being realistic and being truthful are the two most important terms and most important principles that you have to keep in mind.
Well, like always, when we participate in these hangouts, I always leave a lot more informed about the law here in the state of Florida. If you've been charged with any crime in Palm Beach County, please call criminal defense lawyer Andrew D. Stine at 561-880-4300, or visit the firm at www.andrewdstine.com. Again, Andy, thanks for sharing your experience and knowledge with our audience today.
Thank you, Renee.
And I want to thank everyone that, again, made it possible for us to have this hangout. Invite everyone to come back next week and hang out when we'll be discussing a new and important topic. Again, remember, call Stine or do the time.